everybody. I'm your module leader for Business Research Methods, Dr. Xiangping Du. In the last recording, I have given you enough guidance and support on how to decide on a research topic. So in this session, I'm going to give you a few examples of defining a SMART research topic or research question. So in the last presentation and in the AB session, you may come across with the example where we mentioned about eczema. So this example does provide you an appropriate process and way how to narrow down a research topic. But however, as we mentioned, this is not an appropriate business research topic, so it is not something you should choose from. This is because we talked about the attributes of a good research topic for you. So first, it must have a focus. Does that topic provide a focus? Yes, to some extent, because instead of looking into the eczema, in general, it looks into investigate into advantages and disadvantages of using antibiotics to treat eczema for children. So there's a focus. But however, does that address the issue of a collection of facts? So maybe the end of the research would be a series of 1, 2, 3, 4 advantages and then 1, 2, 3, 4 disadvantages. It may be just a mere collection of the facts, unless the research probably focused on particular children in a particular culture or society or particular group of children with particular characteristics, so which might provide some kind of fresh insight or contribution to the literature. So that links to the second point, whether it will provide fresh insight or contribution to the existing literature. We would say depends. It may not be, because there might be lots of research have already done looking into the advantages and disadvantages of using antibiotics to treat children in childhood without specifying particular group of students or children with particular characteristics or different societies or background. So does it provide solutions to problems? Maybe, because the research looking at advantages, disadvantages is probably to decide whether the antibiotics or particular kind of antibiotics, whether it can be used widely in the society or whether it would be effective, solution to this particular disease. Does it have a clear link to business or academic theories or concepts? No, not for your subject area. Does it reflect your own learning or academic subjects or knowledge? Probably not for your current program, MSc International Business. Maybe you're coming from a previous educational background in that area, pharmaceutical or medicine. But given you're studying in a business degree now, so you must choose a topic that related to business, that reflects your business-related subjects and knowledge. Does that match your career goal or aspiration? Maybe yes, if you want to go back to what you've studied in your undergrad or where you worked in your previous career. But given you're doing business now, so we probably presume you would like to engage in a business role in the future. So it may not necessarily match or support your future career goal in business in particular. Does that meet the specifications or requirement of the subject? No. So therefore, the previous topic is not suitable for you, or similar topics not in the business subject area is not suitable. So therefore, when we look into a suitable research topic and a SMART research topic, it needs to be looked within a business context. For example, you may choose a very topical topic that where we're situated currently, COVID-19. So what do you want to look into COVID-19 and how can you convert it into a good research topic? You may say, I want to look into what is it? What is COVID-19? Well, that's the definition, isn't it? It's not worth investigating. Or why COVID-19? Well, that's probably very scientific question. They're probably not for us to worry about at this stage. Yeah, where is it from? Well, it originated in China or identified in China, but who knows where it's originally from, okay? And again, it's more scientific issue, so which may not worth us investigating as a business students. Who suffers from it? Well, everybody really isn't affected by it, but those people who are tested positive probably suffers the most. But what's the point of you looking into who suffers it? When did it start or when it finished? Well, probably we know when it started, and then we might not know when it finished. So looking into something unpredictable is not researchable. And how to prevent it? Again, it could be more scientific, not very business related. Yeah. So therefore, when we look into a social phenomenon, so a lot of time it can be converted to business topic or research topics. But when you look into all these W's, what, why, where, when, who, and plus how, so it's always good to ask these questions, starting with these W's and H, but you have to connect them to a business context. So these are daily life topics, which is probably not that relevant or worth doing in the research, in our business research context. So that is to say, purely looking into the COVID-19, the social phenomenon may not necessarily be a good business research topic. And however, we may be able to relate it to a business research topic by looking into the impact of COVID-19 to the society, especially to the business world. For example, we have to ask ourselves the impact of COVID-19 on whom and from what perspective. Is that to government, or looking into organizations, or individuals? Yeah. So if you're looking into government, so what are you looking into? Do you look into how the government reacted to COVID-19, how timely or effective their measurement is, or what regulations rules towards COVID-19 and to what group of people, or what measurements in place about the testing? Yeah, so maybe a lot of information can be found already from the government website. So it may not be worth investigating nowadays because of very public information. Okay, and maybe you have to ask yourself, which government are you looking into, because it's a world phenomenon now affecting countries across the whole wide globe. So you're looking into the government measurements in UK, in China, in France, any other societies or countries. Which government, which department of a government are you looking into, how the health of England reacted to it, or the educational sector, or the trade organizations? So there's a lot of thinking need to be done behind in order to narrow down the topic and to make sure it is focused and it's not too big or too broad. And again, if you do research with the government, and you have to think about how are you going to do it. Would you just do it, find the information online as a secondary research? Or would you have to talk to somebody, Prime Minister Boris Johnson about the decisions made or the thinking behind this decision? So whether it's doable, whether it's possible, achievable. Yeah, so these kind of things are the things you have to consider. Maybe if you look into the impact of COVID-19 from organizational perspective, you may have to think about what kind of organizations or companies or institutions you want to look into, in whichever industry sector. Yeah, and how do you measure the impact of organizations? Do you look into the profitability, or do you look into the cohesion, or the employee impact on the organizational side? So is the research within the organization purely secondary, or you have to speak to the company managers or to the employers about it? Do you have access to this particular company or organization you're investigating into? Who do you need to speak to? The manager, the owner? When do you need to speak to them? And how do you have access, get in touch with them? So all these things need to be considered. The resources you have, the skills you have for the research. Yeah, maybe, and I think the government side and the organizational side of research might be a bit more challenging for you or most of you as international students. So therefore, it might be more appropriate for you to do a research looking into individuals, so or from the individual's perspective. So even so, you have to ask yourself a range of different questions. So individuals, which group of individuals, who are you investigating into? Are you investigating the parents? So how they manage, this COVID-19? Are you looking into employees? So what did they do? Did they lose their job, or did they work from home or continue working in whichever way? Are you looking into the impact to students, whether they have continued the education online or nothing at all? Yeah, so the impact on what? Depending on the particular target group you're looking into. Looking into the impact of the adults' careers, work-life balance or income, or looking into the students, the impact on students' academic progression. Yeah. So how are you going to do the research? Would you be able to find enough literature or information online currently? Maybe somebody else have already done a similar research. You may be able to find it. Or you have to do primary research. You have to collect the first-hand data. If you have to do primary research, how do you have access to them? To the parents, to the employees, to the students? So how do you reach them? How do you recruit or invite them to your research? Now, how many do you need? And then once you get them agreed to your research, so what do you do with them? Do you just send them online questionnaires, surveys, or you need to arrange interviews with them? So which would be online interviews, because you may still not be able to physically meet them under the current circumstances. So there's a lot of range of questions. And with COVID-19, we may not be able to find as enough, we call it empirical research. That's research already published. There may be some quite topical, but in terms of the historical or literature, there might be not as much. But it is doable. It is topical nowadays, just for now. But however, you still have to think about a lot of questions in the whole process of deciding a research topic. And I hope this gives you an idea about how you can come up with a research question and what is the thinking process behind. As pre-discussed, so maybe a possible smart research topic around COVID-19 could be an investigation into the impact of COVID-19 on female university employees' work-life balance during UK national lockdown, a case study of a particular university. So looking into female, because traditionally females were as, childcare, household, and probably have to maintain work with their organization. So there's a bit of focus there. If we refer back to what we mentioned in our last presentation, so a smart research title or research topic must contain the below features. First, the academic subject. Yes, in this topic, there's academic subject, which is the work-life balance within the HR domain. Yeah, and there's specific context, looking into COVID-19 and national lockdown within the UK. And there's particular target population we're investigating, not everybody, but we are looking into university employees, even more specifically looking into females. And the reporting verbs is the investigation and the impact. So it's quite smart, isn't it? According to the to our criteria: specific, measurable, and achievable, presumably, and realistic, and quite timely. However, you have to ask yourself how sustainable this topic will be, because thinking about the timing and the relevance of it, because you start doing thinking about your research topic for your proposal, for your plan now, but you won't conduct the research until almost a year later, or could be 2 years later almost, if you're on a 2-year visa or 2-year pathway. So would the COVID-19 still there? Hopefully not. But if it's still there, it might still be topical. It's still worth doing. But if it's already gone, or with all the vaccination and everything in place, maybe people are not as concerned. So there might not be any point of doing it. So there may not necessarily be any significance in that sense. Yeah. So and also if you think about how does that support your career goal? So you may say, oh, because it's an HR topic, I want to work in an HR sector in the future. So think about in the future in an interview, people ask you, what research you've done, how do you perceive your research impact in your future role in this HR department? So what would you say? Yeah, or you may say, I want to work in a higher education institution, so this help me to understand, the employee work-life balance. Yes, maybe. So it's kind of something that you have to justify yourself, because ideally your final research project might be able to match or support your future career, and that is ideal but not always the case. It's just something for you to consider. Okay, and I hope this gives you an idea of an appropriate and smart research topic. So followed by the COVID-19 research topic and the way how you can convert it into an appropriate research topic, obviously with a lot of thinking behind as well and considerations you need to take into. So I'm going just to introduce you another 3 examples of how can you convert the research topic into smart research titles without having to go through the process and why and how, all these W's and which H questions. So that would be all part of the thinking behind keep asking yourself questions. Yeah. So for the first one is looking at the credit card security issue, and obviously nowadays people, it's a kind of a cashless society, especially with COVID-19, and then the security and hygiene issues, safety issues in place. So everybody's kind of encouraged to use card, especially credit card, which is regarded as more secure than debit card. So if you got a topic about card security or credit card security in particular in this cashless society, so the way how you can convert it into appropriate research topics is, obviously this is a very general topic, so the way how you can narrow it down, probably it can be from 2 perspectives. First, you can look at from the company or the bank's perspective. The second is you can look into from consumers' perspective. So if you look into from the bank perspective, so it could be, the topic could be an investigation into credit card companies or banks' marketing strategies in ensuring consumer security to gain competitive advantage. So where you're looking at comparative study of X bank and Y bank. So in this topic, you're looking into the academic subject of marketing strategies of this credit card company or banks. Yeah, so the particular context or industry or companies is X and Y bank, which you're looking into, comparing what they've done, how they've done, what is their strategies, and which one is more successful in terms of gaining competitive advantage. Yeah, so it's kind of more smart in this way how you convert it. But you need to make sure that X and Y bank are comparable, because it's very important sometimes students make into comparative studies, looking into 2 organizations that probably completely doing different businesses or in different countries, societies, which are not comparable. So it's important. So these X bank and Y bank are comparable. Probably you look into Lloyds and NatWest, for example. They are both UK banks, for example, and nationwide, and they have everybody knows, and they have branches and everywhere. So that's something you need to be aware when you do comparative studies. Yeah. The second topic, it could be from the consumer point of view. So you may look into from consumers how they feel secure, whether they feel secure using credit card. But that's very general. You may want to narrow it down to a particular group of people, particularly, for example, senior citizens, for example. We know many of them are probably less likely to use credit card. So that particular group of people might be worth investigating into. So you may look investigating into UK senior citizens' use of credit card and their attitude towards the security of the credit card for online shopping. So again, you narrow it down more to online shopping, not physical shopping, for example. So as we mentioned in our last presentation, you should always be aware of the use of and. So in this topic, we used and, but by assessing it, I feel that's not a big problem using and, because first of all, we need to look into whether they are using credit card or not. And then if yes, probably in your design of your questionnaire, for example, you have a yes and no question. If yes, proceed ahead. If no, just exit the questionnaire. Yeah. So if you're using the credit card, and then you may ask how often you use, how much do you spend, and then the attitude towards the security of the credit card for their online shopping. So again, it's kind of looking into consumers' attitude. Again, it's more of a marketing and consumer behavior angle in terms of academic subject area. And obviously looking into online shopping as well is another academic subject angle. And the focus or the context is the senior citizens in the UK, do online shopping with credit card. So again, it can be regarded as smart and potentially could be appropriate research question or research title. The second example looked into is more in HR perspective, looking into employee identification. Especially with companies which are geographically diverse, with branches everywhere. So how do they do they gain, or what strategies in place for them to strengthen the employee identity? So again, you can look at this from two perspectives: employer's perspective and employee's perspective. So for example, from employer perspective, you may see what effective communication tools to gain employee identification within geographically diverse organizations, a case study of a particular company. Yeah, so again, so you're looking into employee identification and communication tools, so which is within HR academic subject area. And obviously the particular kind of organization, the context is a geographically diverse organizations, and then in particular you're looking into a case study of a particular company. So this company could be scattered around different parts of the country, for example, in a particular society or country. Yeah. So if you can also look into this research topic and convert it to appropriate research topic from employees' perspective. So you may want to look into how effective are the organization's newsletters at gaining employees' identification within these geographically diverse organizations, a case study of X company. So here, instead of investigating from company's point of view, what are the specific or effective communication tools? So when we look at from employees' perspective, and then we have looked into the specific communication tool, maybe it's the organization's newsletter or weekly newsletter or monthly newsletter, and how does that gain employees' identification? Yeah, so just give you a flavor or example how you can convert this a general research topic that of your interest into an appropriate research question or title. And in this example, I have converted them into question format, but obviously you can always convert it back into a statement where you can use a reporting verb. The noun form of a reporting verb may be exploration or investigation or examination, for example. So question and title, so the difference is questions in question format and the title is a statement. So the last example I give you is more from a retail sector. So looking into the shelf display point of sale. As you may have noticed when you go shopping in a supermarket, for example, you may find different kind of products are displayed at different shelves or different levels. Maybe some of them are displayed according to the price, according to the range or brand, but say shelf display point of sale, which are normally the ones probably by the till and everything. And then just say if that's something of your interest and a general research topic, you may be able to convert it into a feasible appropriate research title. Again, you can look at this from top down or bottom up perspective, from top-down companies or sellers' point of view, or bottom-up from consumers or buyers' perspective. Okay, so if you're looking to from seller's perspective or company's perspective, you may convert your research topic as something like examination of the effectiveness of shelf display point of sale in retail supermarket in the UK. Yes, you're looking at the effectiveness of it. So that we have you look at it, you may look into the sales, you may do experiment. So in 1 month you put particular product in a particular shelf display, point of sale, and then in another month you change it and then back to where it was, for example, and just say how the sales has affected, how effective the shelf display point of sale is in retail supermarket of a particular product. And so that's something you can do an experiment and compare the sales, the figures, and that's something is possible to do. Okay, maybe you want to do this from consumers or buyers perspective, and look into how that might impact their buying behavior. So you may want to investigate in the extent to which the shelf display point of sale impact on their buying behaviors in the retail supermarket in the UK. So you can see the difference between these two. So in the first one, you may do experiment and helping or liaise with the seller or the supermarket to the experiment. And the second one, you may just need to do a primary research and speak to the consumers of a particular supermarket or in general, and ask them how that has affected them with regard to a particular product or product lines. So for every research topic, I think you can convert a research topic either from the organization's or company's perspective, or from consumer's perspective, or the user's perspective, or the employee's perspective. So hopefully these few examples gives you the idea how you can convert research topics or general research topics and make them into more smart and appropriate research titles or questions. And as we mentioned, once your research title or the question has been formed, it just flows later. You provide the context background and look into the particular issues within the particular academic subject area and the context, which links to the aims and objectives you want to achieve and how you want to achieve it. Later on, we talk about more. And as said before, I understand many of you are not from business backgrounds, and many of you find it's challenging to come up or to define a smart research title question for now, but therefore you have to get the support whenever you need it. Although research is yours and you're driving this topic, but again you can get a lot of support from the module leader and tutor and the AEB tutors, and do a bit of research online using the online library, see what resources and how other people have done similar research in the topic area. Utilize the StudyNet, the module side as well, find the existing topics and titles. And I hope again you have a good start of your research topic. And as we said, this is not only related to a 15 credit module, but related to another 60 credit module for your final research project. Good luck.